Hi, my name is Jessica Martinez, and I am the AP Calculus teacher here at Colony High School. Sorry I'm not able to be there on AP night. I'm on maternity leave currently at home with my newborn daughter, who you will see in a few slides coming up. Just a little bit about myself. I went to Azusa Pacific University for my undergraduate degree and earned my Bachelor of Arts in Mathematics. After graduating from Azusa Pacific, I went to Claremont Graduate University and graduated with my teaching credential in math as well as a Master's of Arts in Mathematics. I started working at Duarte High School, in Duarte, California, and I worked there for about 4 years before I came here to Colony. And this is currently my fifth year at Colony. Next year will be my sixth year here at Colony. And I currently teach Integrated Math 3 and AP Calculus. This is my family. My husband, Mr. Martinez, is actually also a teacher at Colony High School. He teaches math there as well. And our son Max is the oldest. He's 5 years old. Alex is 2 years old, and Zoe is our newest born, and she was born at the beginning of January. So a little bit about AP Calculus starts with what is advanced placement. So advanced placement, I'm sure as you already know, is a very rigorous opportunity for students to be able to take advanced classes in high school and possibly earn college credit for them if they are successful on the AP test. It gives them great school skills that will help them to be prepared for college, good study habits that will help them to be successful when they take college classes, etc., etc. This class was designed by college professors that worked in conjunction with math teachers from high school in order to create the curriculum that students would learn in an AP class. And so that's where the curriculum for AP Calculus comes from. Some of the benefits of taking AP classes is that students will figure out some of the strengths that they have, whether or not it's between subjects, English, math, science, etc. They will find their strengths and weaknesses in terms of time management and studying and things like that. It will help them to be prepared more for what they can expect in college in terms of the workload and the content that they will be learning. So it will help them to learn good study habits and improve their writing skills in math as well as in other classes as well. And it will also give them the ability to realize that they can find success even when things get difficult. And there's also benefits where it can give you an edge on your college application in terms of taking AP classes. If you pass some of the tests, it saves money for college tuition if you don't have to take those classes again in college. It helps to kind of figure out where their interests lie. Maybe they didn't realize how much they enjoyed a math class before, and calculus is kind of something different and new, and they enjoy it a lot more than they might realize. And then also students are more likely to graduate from college on time. I know personally for me, I did take some AP classes in high school and earned some college credit for them, so it allowed me to kind of fast track my college path and get started immediately on the classes I knew I wanted to take and the ones that were necessary for my major. The difference between AP and honors classes is that, first of all, from general education classes, they're definitely more demanding, but even transitioning from an honors class to an AP class, it gets even more demanding in terms of what's expected for homework, what's expected on tests, as well as how we are preparing for the AP test at the end of the year. They are very similar to first-year college courses. My students always come back and tell me about how prepared they feel for their math classes in college after taking AP Calculus, and so it's definitely going to prepare them for that. They'll be asked to read and write more in my class than they probably typically have in a previous math class, just because we look at a lot of free response questions and analyze the way things are asked, and you're asked to justify reasoning in terms of figuring out why you think answers are what they think and being able to communicate to someone that you know what you're talking about in written words, not just the math to show that you know what you're talking about. It means we're going to be talking a lot more, so we'll use different methods, whether or not it's just discussions during class. We will use technology to have discussions in class and outside of class. Students are required to think for themselves and like I said earlier, justify their reasoning. They'll really have to think deeply about how they know what they know and being able to prove that. I want students to get involved with their homework and really use their homework as a time to practice and think for themselves and work with each other to figure out how to come to solutions together. It's definitely going to teach students how to reason, how to understand, and how to prove that they are confident in their abilities in math. Anybody who is willing to accept the challenge of taking rigorous courses would be fit for this class. It's definitely going to take a lot of time, so please keep that in consideration if you have outside commitments, whether or not it's a job or sports or taking care of siblings, etc. Please make sure that you take that into consideration, as well as the number of classes that you're taking, number of AP classes. All of them will put a demand on your time, and it's important that you are able to commit to the time that it's going to take to be successful in all of the classes you choose to take. So please make sure that you take that into consideration when you're deciding which AP classes you want to sign up for. Make sure you have an interest in the class, make sure you're motivated enough to follow through with it and to see it through to the end of the year, and focus on where you find strengths. It's good to challenge yourself, and so if math has not always been one of your strongest suits, it's a good idea to challenge yourself, but just make sure you have the time commitment and the motivation to follow through till the end of the year. A couple things we do in this class, we've done some projects in the past, so you guys will do a little roller coaster project in first semester. We'll look into doing some project with a volume second semester. And then there's some pictures over here that you guys can see. I would recommend getting your own personal calculator. Make sure that you look at the guidelines for what is allowed on the AP test. However, the school does have calculators for you to borrow if you don't want your own or if you're not able to grab your own. And then also these AP review books at the bottom. If you want to grab your own, that's great because you can write in it and you can practice throughout the year. But if you are not able to grab your own as well, please keep in mind that the library has review books for you to check out in addition to the textbook that you will check out for calculus. Here is a link to the syllabus in case you would like to look at an electronic copy. It's bit.ly/1920 COHS Calc, and that is case sensitive, so please make sure it's all lowercase. And that'll kind of take you to the syllabus and give you some idea of what's expected and the breakdown, etc. Just a couple things I'll point out, as I'm sure you're curious about. The grading scale for calculus breaks down to homework, quizzes, and tests as well as the final. So here's kind of how it's weighted, adding up to 100. But the grading scale is a little different than typical classes. I break down an A to be an 85% to 100, a B is a 70 to an 84%, a C is a 55 to a 69, D 38 to 54, and an F is a 0 to a 37%. The reason that the breakdown is a little different than a typical class is because all of the tests in AP Calculus are based on previously released AP test questions. Therefore, they're a little bit harder. And so I curved the grades in this class to reflect the way that the AP test is curved. So a C is like getting a 3 on the AP test, which is passing. A B would be like getting a 4 on the AP test. And an A would be like getting a 5 on the AP test. And a 3, like I said, is passing. So 55% is what you would need on the AP test for calculus in order to pass with a 3 or better. And so, like I said, I curved the grades just so that you would see kind of the similarities between how you might do on the AP test based on what your test average is in my class. That's it from me. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to contact me. The best way to get in contact with me is through my email, jessica.martinez@cjuhsd.net, and I am glad to email you back. So please ask any questions that you have. I am looking forward to meeting many of you guys next year in calculus, and I hope that you guys have a great rest of your year and a wonderful summer, and we will see each other next year.